Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. For this video, I'm going to be speaking on size does not matter inside of prison. And more specifically, I'm going to be speaking on my Italian homeboy, Joseph Bompartito. Now, I met bro at CFIC, the Central Florida Reception Center, when I first went to prison. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I viewed him, I assumed he would have been a jizzle. First quarter, this kid's like 5'4", 5'5" at most. Like, he's to here on me. He's tiny. I'm 6 foot 6'1". It just depends on the day. But this kid's way down here. And you know, he just had this friendly ass face. And he couldn't march for nothing. So you know, in the youth offenders, we gotta march to chow. Hey. Oh, I forget which one that we were doing in the at CFIC, because the hep was Lancaster. CFIC was your left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So we gotta do that bullshit, right? And Joe, it was like he got, you know, 2 left legs. Like, this kid just, he can't do it. He's fucking it up. He ain't got no rhythm whatsoever. And you know, he was the type, when he got nervous, he would smile. And this kid had this big ass smile. And I thought he was funny as hell. You know what I mean? And some people were like snapping on him in line, but you know, I didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes if somebody's messing up in line, the CO will get on all our ass. We all got a PT together. We got to put our face on the dirty concrete or the rec yard or whatever. But it is what it is. We're all going through this bullshit together. So I didn't care about none of that. But like I said, I assumed that he was a jizzle until I started talking to him. He had a T on his tag, so I assumed he was from Tampa. He caught his case in Tampa. He was really from Fort Pierce. That's where he was from. See, I remember things. As I start talking about it, everything starts coming back to me so vividly. That's why I'm able to push out all these stories, because I'm able to, bit by bit, remember every single piece of my bid and the people that I encountered. But bro was from Fort Pierce, and he caught burglary charges in Hillsborough County. And he ended up getting 10 years. You know, I asked him, had he been TOH'd and all that. TOH is a test of height, more or less like they just want to see where you're at, if you're going to fight, if you're going to whatever. And he fought his bunkie, who was this other big-ass kid named Beast, who was probably like my height, like 6 foot 6'1". And he looked like I don't know, like a bootleg 50 Cent, like a young 50 Cent, 17, 18. And this kid was cut up, you know what I mean? And I was surprised to actually hear they went at it one-on-one, and Joe held it down. Like, he didn't break it off for nothing. He was getting in there. He was fighting. He had a black eye, but, you know, you did good. Like, wear that shit with pride, because you held it down, you know what I'm saying? You fought somebody way bigger than you. You ain't got to win. You just got to get in there and show that height. So off rip, you know what I'm saying? I love this kid's vibe. He's cool as shit, and we're hanging out, we're talking. I wanted to test Joe. I wanted to see what he was about, and at the same time, there was a white kid that came, and this kid looked soft as shit. So we're going to find out what it is. It wasn't necessarily just targeting this kid, because no one's getting spared. Doesn't matter if you're black or Spanish. The Spanish were the only ones that really weren't getting touched, because their people really did it to themselves. You know what I mean? The Spanish, TOH, the Spanish. But if a black kid came in and he's looking weak, like, yeah, you got to run that, bro. I mean, we had a black GD from Tampa. Ain't no GDs in Tampa. Let's just get that straight right now. But this kid was claiming to be a black GD from Tampa and Claire Mel. And the MPIs, which is a Tampa-based prison gang, they ran off in his cell and took all of his shit out of it. And when he went in the cell and saw his shit was gone, he came back out. He sat down in the day room. He didn't do nothing. And them boys literally ate his shit in front of him. They started eating all of his food. And the kid didn't do nothing. So your race, it didn't matter. Anyone can get tried. Anyone can get tested. So more or less, I walked up to this white kid with Joe. And we were like, what's up? You gonna break it off? He's like, man, I ain't breaking it off. You know, he's doing the tough talk. So Joe's like, well, all right, tighten up. Mind you, Joe's down here when he talks. So, like, I'm smiling in the back of my head. Like, I think this shit is hysterical, because you got a little Oompa Loompa finna fight this skinny-ass kid that looks like the teacher off of... Damn, what's that show?
Admit it! You have very good parents!
The teacher that be tweaking out and shit, that's exactly what this kid looked like. So we all get into a room, all three of us, right? And the kid Joe finna fight got a whole locker full of canteen. Me and Joe were broke as hell. Like, we didn't have nothing. I think we either ate it all or we just didn't have anything. But, you know, they get in the room, and I'm ready to watch this shit. If Joe starts getting his ass whooped, we're going to jump this kid. I'm going to jump in. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let Joe get his ass whooped. I'm going to at least take the kid off, and then I'll get in there with him or whatever. But I really want Joe to do it solely because as much as we're testing the other kid, I'm testing Joe. I want to see how far Joe's going to go. Because if I'm going to rock behind him, I'm going to go all out. And I want to make sure it's vice versa. You know what I mean? Oh my God, was I shocked at what I saw. They tightened up. Joe put his hands up. He got this little ass set. He's just down here. The other kid, he put his hands up. It happened so fast. Joe like went in and ducked, hit him in the eye, and then picked him up. And I was just like, oh no, we fucked up. We fucked up completely. This kid's face was mangled first quarter. Like Joe, he hit him in his eye and then slammed him off the floor. His eye was immediately swelling up purple. His forehead was swelling up purple. And Joe's on top of him. Just bum, blasting his ass. So I'm like, what's up, Joe? You finna break it off? And he ain't saying nothing. I'm like, all right, Joe, you straight. Get off of him. I didn't want it to get like this because when the COs see this kid's face, they're going to stop making us PT. They might stop beating the shit out of us, trying to figure out who did what to who. And, you know, they're going to come in, they're going to check hands and knuckles. If you got a scrape on your hands, you're going to get taken to confinement. They're going to assume that you did this. A lot of kids were just getting beat up in their body and stomped on their chest and ribs or poked up in their feet and their ass cheeks. Another way that kids were breaking it off is, you know, they would hold them down and rip their pants off. And just being naked would make them break it off. You know what I mean? I don't care what's hanging out. I ain't got nothing to hide. He ain't putting nothing in me. But just ripping my shit off, I'll fight dick swinging. That ain't going to stop me from, you know what I mean? But you got people that's like shy and they're like, no. And they just break it off from that. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the severe cases where people's genitals get lit on fire. It gets extreme, but that's more so at the JIT camps. So this whole kid's face is smashed. Joe just obliterated him. I'm proud as if my son just won his first football game or some shit. Like, I'm like, yo, this is my dog right here. You know what I mean? So we go back into the day room. The kid that's fucked up, we're acting like we're cool with him. We dap him up because we don't want to get told on. So we're like, yo, bro, you did that. Respect. Good shit. Da-da-da. Enjoy your food. And we go back into the day room. And I'm asking him, like, bro, how the fuck did you do that? You know what I mean? Like, how the hell did he just go from point A to way up there and then back down to B? And he's like, I was a wrestler. No, what the fuck are you talking about? So he used to wrestle either middle school or high school. I was like, no way. He was like, yeah, like I can wrestle. So he wasn't A1 with the hands, but when it came to wrestling, this kid was raw and I had no idea. And the rest of the time we was in CFIC, that was my dog, you know what I mean? If we had any food, we ate together. We always chilled together. We talked in the day room. We talked on the rec yard. That was bro. And I remember the night before we all got sent to Sumter CI. We knew we were going to Sumter CI. The COs that we had was sweet. They weren't an asshole shift. It wasn't that big of a deal. So when we were all supposed to lock down, instead of locking down in my cell, and mind you, at this time, I don't even have a bunkie in my room because my bunkie Swamp that I just told y'all about in the previous video, he got sent to whatever camp he got sent to. So whoever you arrive with at CFIC is normally going to be who you get shipped off with, and there's usually a 2-week difference. So when you get to CFIC, 2 weeks, the people that were there before you, they get shipped. And then new people come, and then 2 weeks, that's when you get shipped. So y'all become like the old heads, you know what I'm saying? We show up, there's these kids, they've been here before us, we're trying to learn from them, and then the roles reverse. So before we got shipped, the very night before, when I was supposed to lock down in my cell, I had Ghost, a white GD, shut the door to my cell, and I went across the tier on the second floor, because my cell was on the second tier. So I crossed the bridge, and Joe's cell was the very first cell when you come up the stairs. I snuck into his cell, and we shut the door to lock down for the night. Because it was Joe, and his bunkie was another jit from Tampa. I forget his name. He had big-ass ears. I forget what his name was, and he had the Tampa Rays tattooed on his chest. But Jit was cool as shit. And I was like, if it's our last night here, we don't know what's going to happen when we hit Sumter CI. We don't know if we're going to get divided up. But we're going to hang out this last night. And it shouldn't be a big deal with the COs. Like, if we get caught, what are we going to do? Go to confinement for 4 hours and then get shipped to the next prison? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to hang out with my dog all night. So I sneak into their cell. We lock it down, and we're hanging out in there. All three of us, we busting jokes. And then, we jits. Like, eventually, one of us was just like, man, tighten up. It was probably me that influenced it. And me and Joe went head up. We on the little slap box tip. I ain't even going to lie. Joe put me on my ass. I'm not even going to lie. This kid scooped me. He didn't slam me on the floor, but he slammed me on top of the locker. I had this kid in a headlock. He put me on the locker. I got the corner right here. I'm hitting him in his body, and he's just pushing. This kid was strong. Like, his legs, whatever it was, he had that wrestler frame, like fucking Khabib or some shit. And this kid just, every time I try to get up, he'd sweep my leg out. My dog was raw. I loved it. Short as hell, but he's going to go. And if he grabs on you and slams you, he's going to beat your shit in on the floor. And we were up damn near all night, you know what I mean? When you wrestling in a cell, slap boxing and shit, you get hot, the cell get hot. Eventually we got tired. So Joe's on his bunk, his bunkie's on his bunk. I'm chilling on the locker, we're all talking. And then the CO comes by with a flashlight. And he's like, "The fuck are you doing, inmate?" "I'm just chilling, sir." So immediately he gets the door popped. He's like, "What cell are you in?" I'm like, "The cell over there." "Why aren't you in your cell, inmate?" I was like, "I asked the Sarge on the previous shift because we're getting shipped tomorrow and he said it was straight, da-da-da-da-da." Like, I made up this big ass lie because I really knew there wasn't going to be any repercussions. What's he going to do? Get on the fucking phone and call the sergeant from the previous shift and ask him if this was straight? Like, I pretty much didn't care. You know what I mean? I more so just cared about hanging out with my dog one last time before whatever happens because we didn't know what was going to happen once we got shipped. We didn't know what it was going to be. We didn't know if it was going to be all-out war. We didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I mean? But I met a kid that I considered a solid friend, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to hang out for the night. CO didn't trip. He just put me back in my cell, and we got shipped to Sumter CI. And when we went to Sumter, it was a whole nother ball game. I mean, like, the introduction to Sumter CI when we're having a PT and go through all these crazy workouts, and I'm going to elaborate, but I got a few CFIC stories that I want to get out there before I really dive into Sumter CI and the madness within. But if you've been following the channel for a minute, you know when I got put into the dorm inside of C dorm, I got my hands on a poker. Because the Zoes were trying to hit me up. First quarter. Because the people that got sent to Sumter CI 2 weeks before me was my brothers. Bam, Jamaica. I forget the Shine homie name, but they all got flipped in the barbershop. So I was told, before going to Sumter CI, there's no love. There's no love when you get there. They're going to flip you immediately. I get inside of C dorm, which is the orientation dorm. I got the bros with me that was at CFIC. I'm the only blood. But I got all the Tampa homies in here. Joe's in here with me. And Joe, he became the teacher's aide inside of school, like first quarter. And then they were also letting him work. So he got cool with the CO, and the CO used to let him work outside of the dorm. So that poker... that same poker that I had ready to hit up one of the Zoes or whoever was going to try to come at me, the same poker I had when Chico Mike ran up to me like, "Oh, what's up, da?" Because we had poked up the Chico in the bathroom and we thought we killed him when we stuffed him under the toilet. That same poker came from Joe. He found the nail outside while he was working, snuck it back in, and my dog first quarter gave it to me. Because he knew out of everyone inside of here, I was the one that they wanted to get. and my dog made sure I was strapped up. I turned that thing into a, you know what I mean? I put a handle on it. And that poker was my first disciplinary report inside of prison, 60 days in confinement for the poker that Joe gave me. But that's just how it works. It's prison, you know what I'm saying? Once I got out of confinement, I didn't last long. Somebody dropped a kite on me. I was under an investigation. I ended up getting shipped off to Lancaster because of my birthday. And that was the last time I ever saw Joe. But I just wanted to speak on him because it's not common to see white boys that's rocking, especially neutrons. But not only that, he could wrestle. And he could slam some shit on their head. And I don't know what happened to him. I don't know how the adult prisons have been for him because it's a little bit different when you get to the adult prisons. I don't believe Joe was really on that slanging iron and trying to stab people and shit. So I don't know what happened to bro. I just hope that nothing bad happened. He's going to be coming home within a year or two. And I hope to get back in contact with my dog. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me. Till next time.